Hare Krishna Prabhu. No sound.
Can you hear?
Yeah, now we can hear you. Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna Mataji. Sorry for the delay. Kadam Karan Prabhu had to actually rush off for an emergency. So, yeah, I'm just I was having some internet issues. But Mataji, if you're ready, perhaps we could start. It's already 3:11.
Okay. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Dandavat Pranam. Sorry. Can you hear me?
Yes, all good.
Yes. Okay. Hare Krishna. How are we starting, Prabhu? आपकी तरह start करना है कि ऐसे normal हम start करते हैं जो classes?
Yeah, you can do just a normal class hota hai. You do Jai Radha Madhav and फिर invocation prayers and just a normal, and whatever your topic is.
Okay. I have to say Jai Radha Madhav, Prabhu?
Yeah, you can sing that.
Oh, Krishna. Jai Radha Madhav Kunja Bihari Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashoda Nandana Vraja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. That's okay. Hare Krishna. Om Agyana Timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Ulmitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Gadamayyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutakpadakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavancha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitamtam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamsha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Vaevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna to all of you. First of all, I'd like to thank you, my Siksha Guru, Sri Krishna Prabhu, allowing me to serve you all. The next one is all of you giving your precious time to listen to me. And my third one is my special thanks to my senior god brother who has inspired me with this discussion on 3 layers of inattentive chanting. And it is something very practical and relevant to our day-to-day practice. I have greatly benefited with this discussion, and I hope you may do so at the end of this class. And most of all, my last visit of my Guru Maharaj, His Holiness Sri Vedya Priya Swami, in Auckland when he came, his special instruction was given to me that you chant from your heart. And I just took that word as chanting from the heart, but I was meditating on it and I could not understand what was it. But now I realize after studying through all this main topic and discussion with of my good god brother. So the daily after Mangla Aarti and Narsimha Aarti and Tulsi Aarti, we always chant 10 offenses. And at the end, we chant that everyone who claims to be a Vaishnava must be careful about chanting the holy name. So the inattentiveness in chanting is the mother of all offenses. And the inattentive chanting is not making us the chant from the heart. So today I would like to cover that what are the different levels of inattentive chanting, and secondly, how do we overcome this inattentive chanting. And it starts with the famous conversation between the two great souls, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Sri Haridas Thakur in Harinam Chintamani, where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is asking Haridas Thakur to speak about glorification of holy name and how one can invoke the love of Godhead. And Haridas Thakur says, we must overcome the offenses. And he makes a very important statement after that, that even if one overcomes 10 offenses against the holy name by chanting consciously, still we will not have love of Godhead. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is asking why. And Haridas Thakur replies that we may not be doing offenses while chanting, but we are still in state of pramad. That means inattentive chanting. And that is the mother of all offenses, and that we need to remove. So how do we know that our chanting is attentive or inattentive? It is said that there are 3 layers of chanting. Inattentive chanting. The first is at the level of body, second is at the level of mind, and third is at the level of heart. So if we see the bodily level, first level, which is at the body level, Haridas Thakur uses the word jadiya. It is, jadiya means anything, any other activity that you do with chanting. So what all things we do with what are other activities we try to do with chanting? Can anyone give me the example, please? What do we do with chanting?
Yeah, looking around,
Looking around.
thinking other things. Yeah, sometimes you're driving, we are doing the chanting. Walking, we
Oh,
are chanting.
correct. Thank you, Prabhuji. Anyone
Hare
else?
Krishna.
So any activity, anyone else would like to mention? Thank you, Tushta Chaitanya Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
So it is said that when we do chanting with any other activities, then it becomes Jariya chanting. And that's at body level. So as Prabhuji said, that we are doing many other activities, looking around, doing walking. If we are sleepy, we stand up and start walking and chant. Or we may be listening to the Guru Maharaj's class while chanting, or
Mm.
watching Krishna movie, and cooking prasadam. We normally do prasadam cooking and we do chanting. And talking on the phone, sometimes we see people are chanting. So all this, I have gone through all this and I have been doing it, to be honest. So that I realize now that anything you do with the activity, any chanting you do with any activity, the while doing the holy name, that round is not counted as a 16 round.
Mm.
So if you're doing if your chanting is Jariya, during that chanting of holy name, you do not count that round as one of the 16 rounds which you have taken as a vow during your Harinam initiation or Brahman initiation. Because we said to the Guru Maharaj and to the Lord that we will do 16 rounds of chanting, and we will also, if we are Brahmanic initiation, then that Diksha time we said that we'll do 25 round during Ekadashi days. So we did not say that we will be doing Jariya chanting rounds. We said we will be chanting, and the chanting has to be without Jariya. So 16 rounds must be chanted without Jariya, without any other activity, and that is pure chanting. So can we think about, are we doing Jariya chanting? Are we doing the chanting without Jariya, without activity? And I guarantee that we all are not still doing with activity, we are doing the Jariya. As Chaitanya Prabhu said, we are looking around. So that is also, looking around is another type of a pramad, which is called Jariya. So how to avoid this Jariya? And Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita chapter 6, Dhyan Yoga, and in that 6.13, it is says that when you are chanting, we need to be sitting in the secluded corner of the house, and which is to be preferably on the morning Brahma Muhurta time, 3 to 5, and where that nobody can be disturbed, and asana is not too high or too low, and how to sit also is explained in that 6.16, if no, 6.30, and it says samam kaya shiro grivam, samam kaya shiro grivam dharayanas chalam sthirah samprekshya nasikagram swadishaschana valokayan. Samam means straight, kaya body, sira head, grivam and neck, dharyam holding, achalam unmoving, sthira still, sampreksha looking, nasika of the nose, agram at the tip. And that means Krishna is very strict about dhyan yoga. So how you are sitting and how you are not looking around, your focus is on the tip of your nose. So Krishna says that chanting is a dhyan, And concentrating on the sound vibration of holy name is dhyan. And so everything that we do along with the chanting, it has to be avoided. So this is how is the Jariya part level of chanting is discussed. And then we go to the second level of inattentive chanting, and that level of second level is of the mind, level of mind. And Haridas Thakur has mentioned that second level of mind is called Vikshepa. When you avoid Jariya and concentrate on the sound vibration, but our mind is still wandering. So Haridas Thakur says that second level of pramad is vikshepa and distractions caused by the mind. So how to avoid this vikshepa and try to bring our mind back into the transcendental sound vibration. And again, in Bhurijan Prabhu's Japa workshop book, he mentions that even if you are bringing back your mind in one Mahamantra of the round is counted. So out of 108 Mahamantra, if your mind comes back to one round, you bring your mind back to the round, and one mind focus on the mantra, your 16, one of the 16th round is counted. So Krishna is giving concession to us and to our unsteadiness and fickle mind. That if you bring your mind back, your round is counted. And he, again in that 6 point, when Arjuna is asking Krishna that how to get the mind back and what is to be done about the chanchal mind. And 6.26, I think, yeah, 6.26, Krishna gives us, in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna gives us the guidance that how do we bring our mind back and what we must do. So, yato yato nischalati manasya chanchalam stiram tatastato niyamatya datma myaneva vansham nayet. From wherever the mind wanders due to its flickering and unsteady nature, one must certainly withdraw it and bring it back under the control of the self. So we need to be bringing our mind back to the mantra, back to our sound vibration of the holy name, what we chant. And I have experienced that I may be bringing back my mind. I can see my mind wandering after two or three two or three names. I can see the mind wandering and I bring my mind back. So what happens is we are hearing the mantra once or twice, but our round is counted and it gives us consciously bringing our mind back has advantage. Three advantages I could say that your round is counted when you bring your mind back, and by doing this, your mind gets habituated to wander around and come back to the sound vibration. And as you do this practice, you may be hearing more than more than two sound vibration, more than 2, 5, 7. Initially, it will be starting from 1 or 2 and 3, 5, and we may reach to 13 times we have brought the mind back to this. And over a period of time, we will be able to remove the vikshepa. And it may be completely gone even because we are consciously making an effort to bring our wandering mind back to our sound vibration, back to our nam. And this is going to get us to the process of attentive chanting. So vikshepa can be eliminated by bringing wandering mind back to the sound, back to the sound, back to the sound all the time. And third level of um, inattentive chanting is at the heart level. So at the level of heart, my Guru Maharaj said, chant from the heart. So I was thinking at that time, I couldn't think of anything, but now I understand little bit that what is a chanting at the level of heart is called indifference in English, but I think Hindi word is vimukha, or some away from the Krishna. It is like we have taken a vow, so I have to chant. We always think since we have to chant 16 rounds, we will have to chant. We'll remove Jariya and Vikshepa, but there is no emotions to it, no interactions with the divine couple or a holy name, no involvement of heart at all when we are chanting. So we are just chanting for the sake of completing our 16 rounds. So this kind of overcome this indifference, one must be having a conscious mode of requesting Krishna to accept me, accept me, accept me. So your heart should be saying when you're chanting, you're not saying practically, but your heart should have that emotions that please accept me, Krishna. Because what is the meaning of the Mahamantra itself? Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare is the internal potency of of Krishna, Radharani. And we said, Mahamantra said, all attractive Krishna, whole reservoir of pleasure, internal potency of Krishna, Srimati Radharani, please engage me in the devotional service of the Lord. So thus consciously we must have this feeling in the heart of please accept me, and that will be removing indifference, or we will be away from the vimukha. So we'll be closer to, we are trying to get closer to the heart, from our heart, bottom of the heart, to Krishna's devotional service of chanting holy name of Mahamantra. And it is also, there is a reference in Shiksha Shtakam, text 2, where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself has said this, and this is like text 2 of Shiksha Shtakam says, Nana Manakari Buddha Nija Sarva Shakti Satarpita Niyamita Smaranena Kala Eta Dashi Tava Krupa Bhagwan Mapi Durdaivami Drasyam Hi Jani Na Anuraga. So it is said that, O my Lord, our holy name alone can render all benediction to living beings, and thus you have hundreds and millions of names like Krishna and Govinda. In these transcendental names, you have invested all your transcendental energies. There are not even hard and fast rules for chanting these names. O my Lord, out of kindness, you enable us to easily approach you by your holy names. But I am so unfortunate that I have no attraction for them. So we have no attraction for the name, that is vimukha, indifference. And we need to overcome this indifference by just requesting from the heart that accept me, Krishna, while I'm chanting the sound vibration, I'm chanting the holy name without jariya, without vikshepa. So this is what is explained by Haridas Thakur, that we are not fulfilling the fundamental prerequisite of our fundamental chanting. So in conclusion, like we avoid jariya doing any activity with our holy name chanting. Don't combine any other activities with the chanting. Sit in a quiet corner of the house, mobile phone completely off, and try to hear your own sound vibration. And if mind wanders, gets a vikshepa level, then bring your mind back to the sound vibrations and consciously create your mood of in your heart of please accept me, the divine couple, for your devotional service. And these three things are taken care of, then we will definitely relish japa. And we will not stop at 16 round. We may be wanting to do it more. So let us now, I would say that focus on completing 16 rounds. Let us not focus on just completing 16 rounds, but focus to relish chanting, quality chanting, and that too from the heart, without vikshepa, without jadya, with love. And and also that instruction of Guru Maharaj's instruction is getting little clear to me, that how do we, what do we do to chant from the heart and not just from the brain or the mind, which we do not have much when we are doing our activities. And even Rupa Goswami had also mentioned that why do I have only one tongue and two ears? So we need to learn, hear our sound vibrations more than we talk. I mean, just chant and listen to the sound vibrations. So I think that is what it is. If any questions, I can take your questions. If I can answer, I don't know, but I'll try. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandvat Pranam.
Dandvat Pranam.
Beautiful subject matter you have chosen, and you elaborated. Actually, we didn't give weightage to the chanting. So nicely you mentioned about the 3 stages of inattentive, which is very, very practical. Now we realize, yeah, what are Jariya, Vikshava, and Vimukha. It's very nicely explained, and we should practice the same way you explained. It will definitely help us, because most of the time we are wondering, eyes are wandering, mind is wandering, hands and mouth wandering, so everything is ups and down. But by practicing the way you explained us, it really very, very helpful. Thank you so much for selecting such a very practical and important
Thank you.
subject matter. Yeah, to tell us what is the right attitude, right approach of good chanting. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you to my Guru Maharaj and my senior god brother who explained to me and made my doubts clear for that. So I will pass on that message. And I have taken permission to share his discussion in this class before I started coming up here. So thank you.
Beautiful.
Thank you so much. It's not me. It is just Guru Maharaj and my devotees and my Shiksha Guru sitting here who's allowing me to do that. So Krishna Prabhu. Thank you. Any other question or comment? And I'm waiting for the feedback. Like good is just superficial, but I really want the feedback on how to improve and what to do.
Hare Krishna Mataji, you have very nicely stated the things. The point was very focused, and you have rightly pointed out what are the obstacles in the bodily level, in the mind level, and the heart level. And you have also explained how to overcome them. So overall, these things are very focused and also pointed. And this is also a very important thing. So for in the beginning, it stands at the very beginning. It's a very preliminary things. But if the preliminary thing is not done properly, we can't progress. So at the same time, it is very important. Without chanting, I mean, we can't progress. And it is very it is very purified. So we have to do it very properly, and you have nicely pointed out what are the things we have to take care of, what are the obstacles, what are the care we have to take care, what are the things we have to take care. And so overall, it's a very nice thing. And I think that's all from my side. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wants us to go back to the Godhead or love of Godhead to invoke through the chanting. And that is why, how do we invoke after being so many years in ISKCON? Still don't know, and still I'm learning. And whatever I'm learning, I'm trying to share with my experiences to others. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you, everybody. Any other questions on the content part of it? If not, we can look into the analysis of Mataji's presentation today. Would anybody like to share or give some feedback?
Yeah, Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Yeah, the starting it bit what should I say? Not in order, because the starting was bit under body movement was bit away from the right posture, and this Jai Radha Madhava is also not properly concluded. So I think that things to be very much taken care of, because the whole attention goes there, and then it starts following the subjects. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Yes. Yes, I wasn't expecting that Jai Radha Madhav because I didn't think of that at all. I was just like I do my normal preaching class. I just thought I'll be doing that class, and sorry, I apologize for that. Well, like Prabhuji's and Mataji's, but I'll try to do that properly. Thanks, Prabhuji.
Okay, any other comments or feedback? Okay. So Mataji, as a part of my service in this forum, I would like to offer some good constructive feedback, which I believe will help you further. I know you're already preaching actively in various online and face-to-face forums for a while under the able guidance of Guru Maharaj, which is great. So thank you very much for coming. And I would definitely say it's a very, very wonderful, relevant topic for devotees that you've selected. And you've spoken from your heart. It's something that has touched you and something that you felt would benefit others as well. And that is the most important part of preaching, is the compassion. You know, it's not that we show compassion only to people who are so-called, we consider lower than us or less qualified than us, but compassion is to be shown to everybody. And that is the hallmark of a preacher. If somebody does not have that feeling, then their preaching will never be effective. It will become a ritual. So I think that whole relevance and was well established. You obviously looked at it from a devotee perspective. This was a class meant for devotees, for their own, benefiting their own chanting and making it better. And I believe this is a topic that very few devotees are aware, especially those three terms that you introduced in terms of body, mind, and heart. So very, very relevant from a contextual perspective. So going through the points which are important to keep in mind, I'll look at what you've covered well. So definitely the introduction was nice. You introduced the importance of chanting. You also established the context where you talked about the discussion between Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Haridas Thakur and how it's important for every devotee. You also established the relevance of this particular topic in every devotee's life for their own spiritual progress, which is good. You also looked at practical application. So how you should chant and hear your own self and try to bring the mind back as it keeps wandering, which is the duty of the mind. And you also had a good summary at the end to just recap all that you have mentioned, and a good call to action whereby you encouraged or inspired people to follow that if it helps. You were on time. In fact, just before time, within the time, which is great. Although you started, we started late rather because of the forum being late. And you also valued contributions from others. You made it a bit interactive by asking questions. I know time was short. I'm sure if it was a bit longer, there would have been more interactions you would have planned. So these are all very, very good aspects that you have incorporated in this class. Now, looking at where you could improve, as Tushta Chandra Prabhu has mentioned, as for every preacher, you see, we cannot just say that I'm here only to talk about Krishna. Prabhupada gave us a full package deal. So the preacher has to follow exactly what Prabhupada has given us. So we have to learn to sing. We have to learn to play kartal. We have to learn to recite verses nicely. We have to learn to prepare and to present it nicely to the audience and to take feedback and incorporate. So it's a whole process, not just coming in and speaking, unlike what other speakers sometimes perceive. So definitely, I'm sure you can, because we are not prepared, it was showing up that your kirtan was, was a little bit underprepared, and you know exactly what to do. If you need any help, any one of us is more than happy to help. In fact, we had a kartal session last week, I think.
Yes, Prabhuji, I did. I sit with the kartal. I tried to do it, but then honestly speaking, I was nervous to lecture in front of you. So I forgot completely because
it did show, which is good.
Shiksha Guru, and then I was thinking, I'll speak from my heart that I was nervous, and that's why I just forgot completely. And I had learned tune for Shikshastakam as well, and I had learned everything, but I could not present here because it's all senior devotee in front of me. So
all good. That's why I'm sure you know, but anyway, anybody can help. We are more than happy to do that. So that was all good. So yeah, the Kirtan part, then invocation, of course, you did the full invocation, and that was absolutely fine, no problem. But depending on situation, you can choose to make it short if you feel it's relevant for time, place, and circumstance. But I think that's all good. In terms of another aspect is you definitely were well prepared in terms of the topic and the overall presentation. From an audience perspective, we perceived, or it was a perception that you were actually reading a lot more than we expect. So we are, when you present something, it's good to say from the heart. And you can look at your notes in between if you lose the flow or thoughts. But if you put your eye, especially when you're doing online, if you're reading something in front of you, or your eyes are not in the camera, then audience feels a bit not connected with you. So just more eye contact would be good. Less reading would be better. And when we normally discuss any verses, like you were talking, you were reciting Shikshastakam, it's good to, and also you gave some reference to some verses in Bhagavad Gita. It's good to keep the verses handy in front of you, because we may not memorize all the verses before the class. So when we give some reference, we should be specific and say this verse from this chapter, and this is what it is. So the audience should feel that, you are very well prepared and very focused. There is no ambiguity or pause in between, which gives the feeling of the speaker is not very confident as it should be, because we're representing Prabhupada, you see. So any perception that the audience has in terms of our presentation is directly impacting Prabhupada's reputation as well. So that's just one part. Second part is the voice, and it is not just yourself. I find a lot of people who start speaking, it is just a common perception because people are not taught. We are not taught this in schools or in our education of how to speak. So we usually speak with a monotone, like just the same tone that goes from start to finish. So it is relevant, it is good, it is loud, it is clear, but it is in the same tone. So we should vary it in terms of volume, in terms of pitch, in terms of pacing, sometimes speaking a bit faster if you want to catch the audience, the attention of the audience, and sometimes speaking a bit slowly and very soft would also be good, because then audience cannot hear you loudly, so they become more attentive. So these are just small techniques, especially when we are doing online. You cannot predict what the environment of the audience is. So if your voice is not modulated well, you will lose their attention. Anyway, their attention is only 50% because they're seeing you through a screen and they're not conscious. So when you're sitting in front of the speaker, usually face to face, the audience is conscious that the speaker is seeing me. So even if they don't like the topic or they don't want to be fully attentive, they are forced to be attentive. But online, they are only 50% attentive because they are in that different environment. And on top of that, if they don't get a person or a topic that is very relevant and very catchy, then even that 50% attention will slowly dwindle. I'm not saying we should not do it like this, but I'm just saying just to keep that aspect in mind when we present. So just variation in our voice, in our presentation will go a long way in catching their attention of the audience. So just those aspects to keep in mind. And I'm sure as you implement these things, you'll become a lot more powerful, a lot more inspiring to people that you are preaching. And I'm sure you'll please Guru Maharaj with your efforts. So thank you very much for coming to this forum and for allowing us to give you some good feedback, so that collectively, the whole idea is collectively we serve Srila Prabhupada's mission and please him in the best possible way that we can. So thank you once again. Hare
Thank
Krishna.
you. Hare Krishna. Just
Okay.
Kartal lesson. I'll take a Kartal lessons, Prabhuji.
Yes, no problem. We had actually one preliminary lesson a few weeks back. So we'll be following that up with another review session in a few weeks' time. So feel free to definitely join in. And if you need something specific, of course, you can speak to any of the big Kartaliyas, or I can help you in some way, just on a basic level. So help is always there, Mataji, anytime.
Thank you.
All right. Okay. So we'll end our session here today. Jai Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Jai. Nitai Gaur Premanande. Hari Hari Bol. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.